It's the emotional, mental balance. So I say, think of it as a three-legged stool, right? Chemical, physical, emotional, or body, mind, spirit, or body, mind, soul, whatever the lingo that works for you. But you pull one of those legs out and that chair collapses. But it's easier for people to make little changes, micro changes. I say make micro changes in your diet, in your what you eat, what you drink, what you think. But if you can make little micro changes, but the mind, it's because we create memories, pathways, and it becomes a loop. And to undo that loop, it's about 400 to 600 times of changing that mindset to change that mental pattern.
Welcome to the Three Women On podcast, your go-to for real talk on women's health, careers, family, and everything in between. Ladies.
Yes.
Holistic living, the holistic lifestyle. This is kind of like a buzzword.
Yeah, I like this topic.
Yeah, well, and it's a buzzword. So for those that are like listening and maybe they're like, oh, holistic, like is this some kind of like a woo type of a word? Yeah, it just means taking care of your entire self. Mind, body, spirit.
I love that concept. That concept makes so much sense to me.
Chemical, physical, emotional.
Exactly.
So now, having said that, is there one that maybe you struggle with keeping in check?
Oh, definitely like mental. Is that the one? Chemical. Mind. My mind is my own worst enemy. Like if I'm feeling stressed, like I can go for a run, I can go for a walk, I can do physical things. I can battle that pretty well. Same with spiritual. I think I have mechanisms that make sense and easy to me, but my mind that's hard to keep sound, like all the time.
I think from a clinical perspective, I think that's the biggest thing too with my patients.
Makes sense.
It's the emotional, mental balance. So I say, think of it as a three-legged stool, right?
Oh yeah.
Chemical, physical, emotional, or body, mind, spirit, or body, mind, soul, whatever the lingo that works for you. But you pull one of those legs out and that chair collapses.
Yep.
But it's easier for people to make little changes, micro changes. I say make micro changes in your diet, in your what you eat, what you drink, what you think.
Yes.
But if you can make little micro changes, but the mind, it's because we create memories, pathways, and it becomes a loop. And to undo that loop, it's about 400 to 600 times of changing that mindset to change that mental pattern.
One that you built 400 times to change it back.
It's called the law of neuroplasticity, darn it.
Oh, wow. What about you, Gina? What do you struggle most with?
Probably mind as well.
Yeah, I think that's the hard one.
And I think, it kind of sounds like what you're saying, that this is what the majority of folks kind of struggle with that you see.
Yeah, because we get primed, right? What's right, what's wrong, the way you should look, the way you should all these mantras that we've created in our own mind. And holistic living is being whole, body, mind, spirit.
Yes.
Right? And so it's affording us that opportunity to change that mantra, change that loop in our head.
So now I think of us, I think all of three of us, we try really hard to do the right things right, to be physically active, to eat healthy. I can only imagine folks that are struggling. Maybe they're depressed, they're anxious, they're sick. They don't see a positive end in sight for them. What kind of guidance do you have?
Do you think you have to start simple? Like you
micro.
said, micro steps. Yeah. Do you know one thing? Like I go up and down on my moods, honestly. And on some days I'm like, just get out in the sun. Like that's your victory. Like you went and got some sun that day. And almost always once you make that first little step, the other ones are easy and easier to come along after. Oh, do you know what? That was great. I feel great. Let me just walk around the block. I'm outside. Let's go walk around the block. So you walk around the block and then you get home and you're like, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to eat this apple or these grapes or these blueberries. I think it kind of has a trickle effect, but you've got to start small because sometimes people, it seems seemingly impossible when you're so far gone, you know?
Well, I'm pretty open with some with struggles I've had. I was in a pretty bad accident, a fall, almost 2.5 years ago, and I was basically in bed because I broke quite a few bones and tore my rotator cuff and had a head injury, and because of the fracture in my leg, I was
Bedbound.
bedbound.
Oh, wow.
To the point where I couldn't even feed myself lots of times because I couldn't use any of my extremities. And it taught me, I find that as traumatizing it was an actual gift, because it made me go to the darkest place, but to pull from that tiniest bit of light. And it really took me some days just to sit at the edge of the bed.
Yeah.
Was a huge feat.
Yep.
And so for those of you out there that might find yourself in this situation and think that you don't have the energy to get up and cook a healthy meal, you don't, whatever
Right.
the situation might be, if you can get up and sit at the edge of your bed and
celebrate those little victories and then just do a little bit more the next day.
Yeah.
So, what do you tell tell to the family members that love these people that their biggest victory of the day is sitting at the edge of their bed?
Those are, we had a conversation a while back on your inner circle and your friendships and so forth. The people that carry you through those dark times, sometimes they're just, less than a handful. But those of you out there caregiving and watching your loved one struggle, just know how much it is taken out of them to get up and sit at the edge of bed or get up and take a walk, and be okay with that. I think for me, one of the things that you might not want to tell people is that you're okay, you got this, you're strong, because sometimes they don't feel strong enough. So, if you're the loved one, maybe bring them blueberries to their chair, or, bring them a healthy snack or something like that. Just little things, and know that they will compound upon that.
Yeah. Do you think any type of pushing is beneficial or helpful for for people that are struggling with having a holistic lifestyle, a well balanced, or should we be happy with their success of sitting up in the bed?
Well, from a clinical standpoint, what we always say is meet them where they're at. What
Okay.
can you do? What's one thing that you feel that you can do that we can get you closer to your goal? Would it be
Oh, that's smart.
switching out one meal a day of an unhealthy meal for a healthy meal? Is it journaling for 2 minutes a day? Is it meditating for a minute a day? What can we do? Again, micro steps.
I love that though, because it feels like you're pushing them, but kind of in an incognito way. Like, you're giving the control to them.
Yes,
like
that's
how,
huge.
How can we? I loved how you put it. Like what can we do to get you one step closer to what your goal is?
And that's a big thing. I think we should all understand, not just from a practitioner standpoint. What is your goal?
Yeah.
Because sometimes we make what our goal is for you or you our mission and our mantra, right?
Yeah.
Because we are, especially with your loved ones, you love them so much that you want them to make all these profound changes. And that's what we want for them. So first of all, determine what is it that they want for themselves.
Yeah.
And then meet them where they're at. How can we do step 1 in that, step 2 in that, and step 3 in that? So those of you who are listening out there, please do not beat yourself up that you are not doing everything quote unquote perfect, because we're never
perfect.
And in this 3-legged stool, it's going to ebb and flow, right? Sometimes I'm When I'm on the road traveling and speaking, you guys have been on the road before, right? Eating can be a challenge sometimes, right?
Yes.
So then I take those other three-legged prongs. I got to be more mindful. I got to be, what is my belief system? What is my spirit? What can I control the best when I can't control that one factor? But don't beat yourself up that at some given point in time, because it's going to happen, that you're not perfect in all aspects.
I like that. I like that answer.
Well, and it's all about those incremental changes. Darren Hardy wrote a book called The Compound Effect. Mm-hmm. So you read this?
I have not.
Oh, if you haven't read it, it's well worth the read. Mm-hmm. But it talks about how small little changes can really, really impact where you end up. And so his analogy was that you're on a plane leaving Los Angeles and you're heading to New York. And if you just change your plane direction by 1 degree, you end up hundreds of miles off, of course, when you're going to land. And it's 1 degree. So to go back to those incremental changes, I would love to know. So somebody that wants to embrace this holistic living and they're like, gosh, really, I'm a little out of whack, right? What are some micro steps they can take on the daily that would benefit?
I always say it's depending on your BOC, your bag of chips. But not eat chips. Don't eat chips. or healthy chips.
Unless they're really good.
Unless they're really good. You're going to fall off the wagon sometimes. I mean, you just are. But maybe from those categories, what's one micro thing you can do every day? Can I take a 10-minute Epsom salt bath every night? Can I journal it? What resonates with you from the mental, emotional, spiritual, part? What is one thing you can do to move a little bit more? Can I get up and take the stairs and go down a floor to the bathroom downstairs instead of the one on my floor where I'm working? Can I go out and do a run or take a walk or whatever? If you walk 10 minutes out, you have to walk 10 minutes back to where you're going, right? That's a 20-minute walk, right?
Yeah.
Can I switch out one not so healthy meal for a more healthy meal, or one food group? Can I start adding some more dark green leafy vegetables into my mix rather than what do you call those things? French fries, right? It just little, and it's like, I like the compound effect. It's almost like compound interest.
Yes. Let's talk about interest.
Says the finance gal.
It's just, what I have found with those that I work with is when they jump in, like I'm changing everything out. I'm going cold turkey, man. I am working out, 15 days a week, and I'm gonna eat nothing but healthy food, and I'm gonna journal every night, and it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, agreed.
So just take those micro steps, and then it's like compound interest.
I love how you said select one little thing from each area. I think that's a really good idea. That's a really good recommendation. Look at, because your health is so dynamic. They all play a role. And so just picking one from each of those areas I love that idea. I'm going to do that.
Well, and it's funny. I've got this, we talked about inner circles. I have this inner circle that we get together each year, and we do a favorite gift exchange, a favorite thing exchange. And this last year, one of the girls brought a 5-year journal, and it's designed for you to only write two to three sentences for each day.
Oh, that's good.
You can find
do
2 to 3 minutes, right?
Yeah.
I've gotten off of track of that, so my girlfriend's probably listening right now, being like, Gina, get back to writing. But I'm going to take after today, and I'm going to go back and pulling my journal, and just 2 sentences a day of what happened today, what I'm grateful for.
Writing down grateful things is such a huge way. Again, that 400 to 600 times of resetting the brain. If you do that every night, a couple minutes of something you're grateful for, or wake up in the morning, whenever it works for you, it's so profound.
Yeah. I actually, this is cheesy, no pun intended. Like, I literally will just smile when I'm like sad or in a bad mood to try to convince myself that, be happy, be positive, like just force it, like you can choose your attitude and how you want to behave. And so I'll start with a smile, and then I'll be like, yeah, but
So
Little things.
can I be a Swiftie real quick?
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a song on her latest album, and I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. Am I the only Swiftie in this table?
Oh, no, but I have to go listen
She's
to
so
it now.
No.
One of her lines, and it's what you're saying.
Oh, really?
That she acts like it's her birthday every day.
Yes.
When she had her broken heart, like, and so she's singing about this, and I'm like, so that's totally. It gave me a Swiftie moment.
Yeah.
I love it. And from a neuroscience moment, of course, I have to bring that into the mix.
Yeah.
That it changing your muscles, movement, even smiling is movement.
Yeah.
It changes those pathways in the
Yeah.
brain.
Yeah.
So smile, everybody.
Smile.
Yeah. Now this was a fun conversation for me, and reason being, I think that there's maybe a misconception of what holistic living is.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I think
Yes.
that's a great point because I think some people think, well, if I just eat healthy, I'm living holistic. Or I don't eat healthy, but I go to the gym every day, I'm holistic. And it's like,
Those other two pegs, they're
that's a
missing.
three-legged stool,
Yeah,
guys. It's a
yeah.
three-legged stool. So just make those legs as strong as you can. And when one's a little weaker, it's okay. Let the other two hold you up for a little while, and then
Yeah.
get back on a dynamic.
Yeah, I mean, I really think that a lot of folks do think it's maybe something that's more granola-ish.
Yeah.
Or like it's more food and maybe supplementation driven than that whole.
It's your whole being.
Yeah.
It is your whole being.
And if you think about it, that's just so logical that you would need to tie all of those things together.
To be whole.
Exactly.
You know.
Well, ladies, thank you for this discussion.
Thank you. This was fun.
Yeah, this is
Yeah,
good.
this was great. And any parting words for what's one thing you're going to do after this today?
I love the idea of doing something in each area every day, like something new, something that's going to push me in each area every day. So I love that.
So when we air this podcast, I'm going to be really excited. I want you to go in the
comment to see what I
comments.
did.
I want to
Yeah.
see what everybody else
Yeah,
did, but I want to
drop
see what
us.
you've
Yeah.
done. Is that a good
Share
challenge
your
for all of
ideas.
us?
Yeah.
Share your ideas.
Yeah.
Because it may spark somebody else.
Yeah, big or small. Obviously, like you are where you're at. So do what you can.
And love yourself through it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Microdosing. Micro.
So we'll catch you in the comments. Tell us what you're doing to live a holistic life. And until next time, this was 3 Women On.